Did they get those things that spin? You know, you hold it and they go.
Yeah, we didn't buy them. I'm a big we're not buying any toys. We're not. All they want to do is go up and down the escalator. So we just did that for half the show.
Dude, Christmas time, how much do you spend on the boys? And I made Nick's a pair of nunchucks with gaffer's tape and two it's the thing he plays with the most.
I wish we called Uncle James this week because Mikey asked me what nunchucks were because we got him Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
And Michelangelo obviously has the nunchucks, and I couldn't explain them. I'm like, well, there are these two sticks with a chain, and you hit people with it.
And they're extremely dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to teach them that.
I'm going to send you a picture of our nunchucks.
I would love to see them, and I will show Michael because he will get a kick out of it after he learns to play the trumpet today.
Welcome into Scoop City on a Monday. I'm James Homer. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please do both of them. It would be outstanding. And do it maybe moving forward forever. We have a lot to get to after a massive Week 17 slate. A lot has been decided, but still some things are up in the air. Can the Ravens actually pull this thing off? We'll break down what's happening with them and the Steelers in Week 18. Can the Niners or the Bears, after what we saw in an epic battle Sunday night, make a run in the postseason? We'll break down both of them, as well as maybe some concerns we have about some contenders that are looking to also make a run and what could be holding them back. I am joined on a Monday with Diana Rossini. I have to ask you first off, the whole family was watching you on Netflix on Christmas while we were opening presents. How was Minneapolis on Christmas and your Netflix experience?
It was warm. I was not ready for that. I was warm. Well, I was indoors, so I was ready for that.
Yeah.
It was great. It was cool. It was different. I hadn't done sidelines since I think Monday Night Football, 6, 7, maybe even 8 years ago. So it was just fun to be around it, be around those guys. And the Vikings crowd, I know that stadium is one of the best, without a doubt.
Super fun.
I know you've been there many of times.
Mm-hmm.
But they showed up on Christmas, man. They came with energy. They definitely helped their team out. Granted, Minnesota had zero offense in that game, but their defense, just absolute monsters.
Yeah.
But I'd say the highlight for me was Snoop Dogg. How good was that show?
Unbelievable. We're getting epic halftime performances here before we even get into Super Bowl.
I know. And I had to make a professional decision because I knew I had to interview Dan Campbell coming out of halftime. Mm-hmm. So what am I going to do for those 12, 15 minutes before? I'm going to watch the halftime show.
Yeah,
I kept thinking I should be going over notes. I was trying to catch up on stats and stuff from the first half. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm going to watch Snoop.
Got to. Come on. Snoop.
It was good.
Let's go.
Look, I am not the biggest fan of a holiday show, Mm-hmm. But I thought the way they combined it with all the special guests, it was beautiful. It was a great time. And I hope it translated on camera.
Oh, it did.
At home.
All right. We got a lot to get to, Diana. I want to set the stage here before we get to the rest of our breakdowns here. Where we're at now is where we are for Week 18 is the Seahawks and the 49ers are going to be in San Francisco playing for all the marbles, essentially, the number one seed in the NFC and the NFC West title. The Rams cannot win that, so that will all be on the line. And I do feel bad for the Seahawks, by the way, who play on the East Coast and then have a short week because that game's on Saturday. Come back all the way across the country. It's kind of a bummer for the Seahawks, but nevertheless, they have to play that. The NFC South's going to come down to Week 18 between the Panthers and the Bucs. We know the way the Falcons play into that, but again, that's essentially going to come down to the division there. The Ravens and Steelers in Week 18. The Steelers couldn't close the door. That's going to come down to the division and who gets into the postseason. Will Lamar play? We'll see. But a lot has blown down and been somewhat decided, but there's still a lot to be decided. Oh, yeah, and the Bears are the NFC North champions. When we look at that game on Sunday, well, actually, no, let me say this. What else has happened, Diana, is that the Raiders have essentially the number one seed kind of locked up. Yeah. They could be looking at a quarterback. They could be looking at a new face of their franchise. But their current face of their franchise in Maxx Crosby, I'm watching him on Instagram, and he's shooting Jays in just a most ridiculous home gym with Ali and Tyson, Jordan. Unbelievable. Can you give me anything of what's going on with Maxx Crosby? Because that was quite the storyline heading into this weekend.
Yeah, so it's well known by now that, he's been dealing with this knee injury and even just swelling that comes with that since October, and he battles through it. And we know the way Maxx plays and how he attacks this stuff. He's never going to use that as an excuse. So when the Raiders made the decision as an organization to shut him down the final 2 games, that just goes against, I think, the way Crosby competes. It's why he's the perfect Raider, right? Yeah. It's why he is who he is, and it's why every coach in the NFL would love Maxx Crosby on their team, which is why when teams were poking around on it last year before he did his deal, before the trade deadline of like, hey, maybe we could do it. Everyone wanted in on Maxx Crosby, but of course that did not happen. So look, he wasn't thrilled about it. I just think it's going to be a storyline that we're going to have to watch this offseason, because I'm curious to see how this goes. Legacy is important to players like Maxx, and right now he is on a team that we're not even sure which direction they're going in. We're not even sure if the head coach who's currently in his position is going to be the head coach in a week. So they've got a lot of questions there. So that's going to be one of the big off-season stories, I think, that we're going to be talking about here on the show, because I don't know he's a competitor. Oh. How happy can you be there? Can he really achieve all the things he wants to do there? And I kind of feel the same way about Myles Garrett. It's like these great players, and I don't know if they're in the right place for what they want to do. And unfortunately, that may just be part of their story. So that's really the latest there. So we won't see Crosby the rest of the year.
Interesting. Yeah, I was always under the impression, if you ask around, Diana, it was like Maxx is going to stay with the Raiders as long as he wants to stay with the Raiders. If he ever wants to approach them and say, maybe I'd like to play elsewhere, it's been time, maybe that's when you see something. But at the same time, we have John Spytek in place. We have Tom Brady in place. This is a new group kind of running things after 1 year. What do we see with what the Raiders want to do? I think you're right. It's something we'll follow this entire offseason. I want to go through what we have in terms of all these contenders and all these playoff teams and what we saw from this week 17. And we're going to start with the team or performance or whatever that you were most impressed with in week 17, Diana Rossini, was.
I was most impressed with the Eagles defense. Okay. Notice I did not say the Eagles, period.
Good call.
It is the Eagles defense, right? Because this team, which has a lot of skilled, highly paid players on offense, are becoming the team whose identity is their defense. And I think that that's okay for now. Obviously, that's not going to get them deep into the playoffs if they only rely on that, because they're going to need these guys to figure this out. Because just as we thought they were turning a corner here, and even just talking to people there, it sounded like all the stuff we were talking about a month ago seemed to be fading a bit, where they were getting back on track. Granted, they were playing against not very good teams to do this, but it was good for them, right? It was like a way to remind them of this is the way it should be. This is the way we could look. Yet here you are in this game against Buffalo. And did you think that Buffalo should have gone for 2? What was your opinion about that?
I think if Josh was healthy, completely fine with it. Although I don't think his foot has anything to do with him missing a wide open receiver, which if you're an MVP, you should probably make that throw. I'll just say that. But Philadelphia couldn't do anything, like anything at all offensively. I mean, and I'll get to it later in the show about what I've gleaned on it and talking to people. But I initially said go for 2. And the more I thought about it, I said, you don't have to. Philadelphia can't do anything offensively. So
if I told you on Saturday that the Eagles would be giving Allen the ball back with 3:30 to go, 3 timeouts, up 7, you're not going to like that, right? Like, there's no way you're taking that. But the way that game played out and the way Fangio just was calling that defense, and just the fact that you couldn't really rely on the Eagles offense. And from the Buffalo perspective, right? Like, at that point there, the Eagles aren't doing much.
Nothing.
Like, you might as, so...
But also Buffalo moved the ball with a couple of like a David Tyree type catch with Brandon Cooks and another one that falls on a chest. Like maybe they didn't think they were going to move the ball that well either. And here's our opportunity with, a unicorn at quarterback from a couple of yards out. I get it. I can see both sides. Yeah.
So we'll see what shakes out here. So essentially if the Bears lose and the Eagles win, right, this upcoming week, they'll get the 2 seed. Which sounds familiar, huh? Like we've seen this story before.
Yeah.
So look, I was just impressed with the fact that Philly figured this out in Buffalo. So before that final touchdown, Josh Allen had scored only 6 points at home one other time. One other time in his career. So much credit to what they're doing out there, which, by the way, and I don't want to make it a money thing, but they invested so much on offense. They didn't put that much money into this defense. So the fact that they were able to figure out ways, and hello, Jalen Carter, welcome back, and just being so impactful. James, you'll appreciate this. I was driving up the 95, actually driving by the link, and one of the billboards, it's always like the stars, but the one of them was, and it's just a full photo of him, was Jalen Phillips. And I was like, damn, that was quick. Yeah. Like, he's been so impactful. This dude's got a billboard on 95 outside the link. Like, it just goes to show you the importance of what he's brought. And he's forever one of my favorite moves during the season to help this team get better,
Big time, big time. You mentioned not a lot of money spent on that defense. There will be, though, a lot of money spent on that defense in the next couple of years with Jalen Carter and Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. And if they keep Jordan Davis, like, there's a lot of decisions to be made, So I agree with you. I think this team's been awesome. They're 9-0 when Jalen Hurts throws for under 200 yards. I think the defense has a big part of that, as well as Jalen Carter coming back and blocking the PAT, which is why they had to go for 2. Their starters play special teams a lot of that defensive unit that is outstanding, in my opinion. Okay.
Imagine that happened again. Like, I would just die. It'd be so funny. Not funny for Bills fans, but just, are you kidding me? It seems like yesterday we were talking about the positive Rabbit, and here we are now talking about the positive Fangio and this defense. So what about you?
Okay,
what impressed you this weekend?
This sounds wild, but I'm going to say this.
Oh, God.
Even though they lost, I was very impressed with the Chicago Bears, specifically Caleb Williams in this offense. And what I was thinking, Diana, as they're going in a shootout back and forth with the 49ers, that I'm like, I don't know how many quarterbacks in the postseason that I'm going to trust more than Caleb Williams with the ball in his hands and I got to have it drive at the end of the game. How crazy has it been for 1 year for all of this to flip? And when I was going through that in my head, I'm looking through these throws he's making last week, and the one he drops into DJ Moore's hands. It's like he threw 60 yards and just handed it into DJ Moore's hands. The way he throws the football, it's just elite, in all honesty. But when I look at where they're at and what's to come, and where they've grown in just this 1 year, Diana, I look at it and I go, this core of Caleb Williams, who's 25, Colston Loveland, who's coming on big time the second half of this year, is 21. Rome Odunze's 23. Luther Burden's 22, who had an outstanding game. Kyle Monungai's 23. Their left tackle, Isaiah Trapio's 24. This young offensive core is in just year 1 with Ben Johnson. Like, what is to come over the next couple of years? And I was texting this with a defensive coach last night, and he was like, bro, they are scary. And this offensive line, do not mention them. Like, this is a really good group, and they are going to, because he's in the NFC, he's like, this is going to be annoying for several years here. Like, I'm impressed with them. Like, even though they lost that game, I am impressed with what's gone on, because we continuously kept saying, are the Bears for real? Like, are they good? I think we have to say they're good.
Rarely do you say this after a loss, right? Like, usually you're like, oh, good effort, good job. But I don't think we're being disrespectful or even flippant about it. I think we're all seeing the same thing, which is
they're good.
They've got the right ingredients here. They've even got the right cook. Like, they've got all of this lined up. Yep. They just need a couple breaks, a couple things to fall their way, maybe a little bit more, a couple more additions this offseason, right, to just improve. But just the fact that they've done this in the first year, I'm with you. I'm being impressed, which is why Ben Johnson is certainly going to get lots of votes for Coach of the Year. Coming off a loss, people are still saying this, right?
People are still like, okay, calm as hell. Like, you had a chance to win it. I don't think anybody was open, by the way. But anyway, near there. But they another great drive, but didn't get into the end zone. Okay, most disappointed of Week 17, Diana Rossini is.
I am disappointed in the folks that listen to Scoop City who have made comments that I believe in the Houston Texans too much. We've gotten some feedback about it, because I've said this whole time that I still think they're going to find a way to make the playoffs. And voila, they've basically been in playoff mode since October. They started 0-3. They're the first team to make the playoffs after starting 0-3 since the 2018 Texans.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. We've talked about this all season. They've got the best defensive unit. I think there's obviously we know Denver's done a really nice job as well. They've come close from giving them some competition in terms of that group, but they're better. Houston's 10-0 when their offense scores, 20 points or more, right? So it's not even 3 touchdowns because the defense is able to come in and take over and take care of business. And, I know that we've talked about Ben Johnson. We've talked about Liam Cohen, Kyle Shanahan, Mike Vrabel, coach of the year. I don't think we've talked about D'Amico enough and
he hasn't
what
gotten a
they've been
mention.
doing.
Yeah.
So I just think I think this team is dangerous. This is the type of team you don't want to face in the playoffs because they're a little bit like this Eagles team now where the defense is the one carrying them, right?
Mm-hmm.
That if they can just be decent on offense, they're going to be able to find ways to win and win out.
Yeah, I love the Texans. They won 8 straight. They've played 10. Let me look at this. They played 10 games against teams with winning records. And like they're battle tested in a sense, Diana, where they're at right now. Like they've played a lot of good quarterbacks. They beat Josh Allen. They beat Patrick Mahomes. They beat Justin Herbert. Like they know how to slow down powerful, high-powered offenses and good quarterbacks. But also, they get chunk plays on offense. I think that's where they've been a little bit different than Philadelphia is they've gotten chunk plays. If they get a couple chunk plays from C.J. Stroud and that receiver group that is outstanding, like, okay, you saw in that Chargers game, you're like, okay, 2 quick touchdowns. Are you going to score 14 on this defense? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So, like, they have the ability to do that. And the other part that I love about them is in the fourth quarter. They just win the fourth quarter. I looked this up. They have the best point differential in the fourth quarter in the NFL at plus 69 and the best turnover differential in the fourth quarter at plus 9. So,
okay.
like, they win that fourth quarter.
They do, but they are not winning the support of America.
No.
Right? Like, we're the only ones who talk about them.
No.
And trust me, you talk to anyone in Houston, they're like, please stop talking about us, please.
Yeah.
Because they like to be kind of under the radar here. But every time I've been around them, I've had the same thought. I've walked away. Same way I've talked about the Bears, right? The ingredients. They've got all the right things. They just got to mix this thing the right way and a little luck, which no one likes to admit, but we know that's what it takes. So
I agree.
What about you? Who are you disappointed in?
I had an honorable mention of both the Panthers and the Bucks because apparently nobody wants to win this division at all. Like the Panthers have had a couple weeks now to do it. They can't do it. The Bucks have had just this epic collapse. I was texting with somebody last night. I'm like, we're doing the classic because you and I talk about this all the time. Like, who's good, who's not good? And they're like, well, the Bucks have been gift wrapped this division every year, including this year, and they failed to grasp it this year. So these two have really disappointed me. And I looked this up and I tweeted it out on Monday morning. There are 2 teams that have not yet to be eliminated that have a negative point differential for the season. And it is the Panthers and it is the Bucks at negative 67 and negative 33.
What is
and
it like
one of them will be in the
watching film?
postseason.
Like, I want to watch film with those coaches after some of these games. It's just like, because you've had these conversations and I have as well, where you talk to whether it's the head coach, assistants, GMs, whoever's watching tape the next day of their team. And when it's bad and you're just like, we won, but we stink.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that happens. That certainly happens.
You know,
it happens all the time.
In fact, I feel like more coaches are like that than I very rarely talk to one who's like, man, we're good,
Yeah.
They kind of live in that space. But in terms of these guys, right, how are they still able to be in a position they're in right now when they aren't really that good? They're just
really
not.
That good. No. And
There's
you know
a
what?
lot of teams right now that are competing that I don't think. I mean, the big one this weekend on Sunday night, I don't think either is that good, and that's the Ravens and the Steelers.
No.
Right? Like, I'd add them in my disappointment category of the year.
Big time. And we'll get to that game a little bit later in the show. But my main point of disappointment is this Eagles offense. We were rolling, Diana, and you mentioned it. You touched on it, so I just wanted to, put it into my perspective here. If you ask people there, hey, last couple of weeks, this is the most consistent our run game has been all season, maybe these last 3 games leading into that game against the Bills. It's the most consistent our offensive line has maybe played. And we've seen Saquon Barkley. He had more carries of 10 yards or more than any other running back in football over those 3 weeks. We're starting to see the offensive line play a part in getting him downfield. We're playing a team that is just absolutely dreadful against the run in the Buffalo Bills. They've given up more rushing touchdowns than anybody else in football. I think they're the 3rd worst rushing defense in football. So I'm like, okay, conditions are terrible. We're still going to be able to maybe run. That's what's happening. This offense is coming together and introduce the second half. 16 total yards was 17. They took a knee. 1 completed pass. 1 first down. No completed passes. 1 first down. Like it was unbelievably concerning to the point that I thought it was interesting post game for Nick Sirianni to say, I need to have more input in the second half about the things I want to run, about the plays that I want to get in. And for him to say that going, I thought Kevin did a really good job, but I think I need to have more input. And when he had a larger input when he did this a few weeks ago, that's where this stretch I'm talking about happened. So I'm curious to see what happens with Nick Sirianni in this offense and Kevin Patullo and maybe what does he mean by that and having more of an input on it. But I was upset because I thought we were headed in the right direction for this Philadelphia Eagles offense, at least a little bit. And I think we took a big step back,
I don't want to be the body language reader here, but did you see that clip of A.J. Brown walking in the tunnel in Buffalo next to Sirianni? Whew.
We're back. We're back to
not a lot of love there. Jeez, it was cold, and I'm not talking about the weather there in Buffalo.
Okay, what are you most surprised by from Week 17?
Okay, I have a little bit of a tie, but I'll just go with because it's still bothering me. The Detroit Lions grit, right? Like I obviously was down on the field. I got to watch a lot of it. We talk about body language, right?
What'd you see?
I thought they had a win, right? They had a win out. They needed some help. The Packers lost, by the way. They needed the Packers to lose the next 2 games. So they lost 1. Detroit needed a win. They obviously did not win. They entered the game with the fewest giveaways in the NFL with just 8. They turned the ball over 6 times. So it was disgusting. And look, I know that they had tons of offensive line problems. They had injuries. They had 10 different combinations headed into that game. Like they did all of it. They didn't want to use it as an excuse because that's just the way they are. That's their identity, right? Is just to be the tougher team in there, make it as physical as possible. But right before the game, and you'll appreciate this, I think, one of the cool parts about working the sidelines is you literally get to go anywhere you want.
No, you're in it,
Which is like my dream, no rules. So pregame, I was just going up to all the players, stretching and stuff, and the coaches, and I was just
they were stretching.
They were stretching. I was stretching a little bit.
Going up stretching. Okay.
When I was doing XFL sidelines, that's when I actually stretched because they made me sprint so much.
You ran around.
I lost so much weight that year. It was awesome.
Oh.
But I was asking everyone, it was like, hey, Merry Christmas. What is one key to the game? Right? Just to see what everyone said the same damn thing. And it was the lines, right? It was up front, what that was going to look like. Because obviously protecting Goff was going to be the biggest issue for Detroit. And, a heavy blitz team like Brian Flores' defense, they knew they were coming for them. And they knew if they could rattle Goff, they were going to win. And guess what? It worked. It worked. And I am surprised Dan Campbell didn't have those guys more prepared. I wasn't really sure what the game plan was. Because here's the tough part. Talking to some people on the Detroit side before the game, we're talking about how they were on a short week, right? So they only had a few days to prepare. They're coming off that heartbreaker against the Pittsburgh Steelers who just ran all over them. And someone on Detroit was like, man, imagine having to face a Brian Flores defense and you don't know them. We at least have familiarity. Yeah. Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well.
You know them and you still stink against them. And credit to Brian Flores and this Vikings defense that were tremendous and awesome and so fun to be around and feed steak too. But I just think that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are going to have a lot of work to do this offseason to get this team back going because they should not be this bad right now. They should be better. Yeah. That's one of the most disappointing stories of the season because we thought, the injuries last year, if those didn't happen, man, well, we're right back in the same spot. Seems to go. My other surprise, by the way, is just the fact that the 49ers that we're even doing this, that they're up for the 1 seed in the NFC. I can't believe this. They were like my cute team, meaning like, oh, they're so cute. They won. Oh my God, they won again. They're so cute. They're not that good. Their defense stinks. They have so many injuries. Brock Purdy was hurt. He came back. They now have the best offense since he's returned, 35 points per game. They've got the best third down offense. They're dangerous. Their defense is not very good, but they're dangerous. So
no, it's not.
That to me is a surprise.
In the same way that you mentioned that this Eagles defense may have to carry their offense on a postseason run. What I was most surprised about, Diana, is that I learned on Sunday night that Brock Purdy is good enough to carry this 49ers team on a postseason run. I thought he was a very good quarterback.
I love that it
We've
took
seen
you
him
all
be a
this
very,
time.
very good quarterback.
Yeah.
I think he's good enough to carry this team without Fred Warner. And we'll see. Cross your fingers. They make a run. Maybe he can come back. You know Nick Bosa's gone. You know how banged up they're on the defensive side of the ball. But you mentioned how good they've been since he returned. I think he has shown everybody over the last 3 starts that he is one of the elite quarterbacks in football and capable of carrying an entire team. I know Kyle Shanahan plays a big part of that. I know Christian McCaffrey plays a big part of that. But we've seen George Kittle in and out. We've seen, Brandon Ayuk not play this entire season. We've seen Ricky Pearsall have flashes where we go, okay, that's the replacement for Brandon Ayuk. Ricky Pearsall's been banged up back and forth. And then you look at these last 3 starts, and I'm looking at it. He's accounted for 5 total touchdowns in each of the last 2 games. He's thrown 11 total touchdowns over these 3 games. He's completing 74% of his passes with just 2 picks and 4 sacks. And oh yeah, we can see that the foot is healthy. His ability to move and be mobile and run with the football when he's healthy is sneaky good. And
Look,
I brought this up.
James, not to interrupt you. They were cautious with that foot. And I remember in the moment being like, gosh, is he soft? Like, why is he being so weak about it? And, I talked to some people there and they were like, well, he saw the Joe Burrow thing. It freaks you out a bit. You don't want to be out that long. So he really wanted to make sure he was okay. Guess what? That worked out.
Oh, he's okay.
Look, right?
He's okay.
If they get the 1 seed and they avoid having to go to Philly, Chicago, Seattle in January and just start this thing out there and never have to leave, let's say, for this defense that's injured and hurt, and to get another week's rest too,
be huge.
Tremendous.
Be huge. Be huge. This reminded me when I watched him, the first, the touchdown where he dances around, retreats, comes back, throws a pass, 2 rushing touchdowns. I remember talking to Kyle Juszczyk a couple of years ago where he was like, the thing about Brock when he runs with the football is he's so deceptively athletic in the defense's mind. He's like, it's not like he's super fast or anything, but his intelligence plays a part in it. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, his spatial awareness, his vision, what he sees is always 3 steps ahead of where he's going. So he always has a good feel about where he wants to go on the field. And that always made him maybe a little more mobile and elusive than people think. And, you watch him, we've covered games saying, you watch him walk in, he's got he looks like he's part of the high school band that was there. And all of a sudden you're like,
he Dougie's now. So.
Yeah, now he's Dougie.
Apparently he's Dougie forever, but now he's just, they were asking him last night, it was Van Pelt, I think, on ESPN was like, do you just look up and do you just look up at the crowd because now they just expect you to do it? He's like, yeah. I think he realizes he may need another move. You may need to change your touchdown, even though I love it.
I love it. I don't need to change.
Here's my thing. If you can do it well,
do it.
Don't change it up. Just because I can watch it over and over and over. Well, there's an old TV saying where people don't get sick of seeing anything until they see it 7 times.
Oh.
So
okay.
7 more times, Brock. That'll take you all the way through the Super Bowl.
Perfect. Note to self, James. Note to self, James. Stop doing the worm at weddings. People have seen it enough.
By the 8th wedding, you're done.
Exactly.
Coach of the year. I can't stand this race. I hate it. It's going to be my least favorite vote I have to make because I change my mind every week. It was Ben for me. Then I was hot on Kyle for a month. Then Braves snuck back in there. Now Braves, I think, is back on top. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with this.
Don't envy it. Don't envy it at all.
Let's do this for next week's show. Maybe we play scoop court or something where you're the judge and I'll plead a case, or maybe you plead a case and then I'll be the judge and that will be my vote.
Yeah, I like that. You can't handle the truth, Diana Rossini. Coming up on Scoop City on a Monday, we are going to talk about, I know somebody has to do it. It is the AFC North. Who's going to really capture that division? I don't know. Can the Ravens pull this off? We'll find out. Scoop City on a Monday. Welcome back to Scoop City on a Monday. James Palmer, Diana Rossini with you. And there's a big one in Pittsburgh, Diana. It is going to be the Ravens traveling to the Steelers with everything on the line. Winner gets into the postseason, wins the division. After the Steelers weren't able to beat the Browns and Derrick Henry essentially beat the Packers. And I find this game really, really interesting now, and I feel like the Steelers essentially blew it, and this is why. First, they were more concerned, apparently, about Myles Garrett breaking the record than actually winning the game, which has been said by pretty much everybody across the board. But to me, your DK Metcalf suspension does not matter if you would have won this game against the Browns. You could have rested essentially Aaron Rodgers in this Week 18 game as well. You could have, and I know they want to see TJ Watt practice in full for a whole week, but you could have been extremely cautious with not an injury, but a medical issue with your star pass rusher and rested him in this game as well. And all of these things now are looked at completely different, that it is a win and get in scenario. How will the Steelers, Diana, be looking back at that game against the Browns, you think, and go,
we're the second oldest roster in football, and we're tired, and what the heck did we just do to ourselves, right? You mentioned it, Rodgers, Hayward, Watt, Ramsey. That's the star power. That's the crux of this team. We're crust.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
We crust.
You got it. It's the crust of this team.
I got pie in my mind from Christmas.
That's the crust of this team.
I feel like if I was a little quicker today, I could have came up with a way to make that work better. But
it's the holidays.
Look, they're going to regret this. The Steelers played down their competition a lot. And they did it again. And going back to the whole idea that Pittsburgh was more worried about Myles Garrett not getting the record. Yes, of course. When Myles Garrett goes out there and says, I'd love to break the record against Aaron Rodgers and have Aaron Rodgers be the one I sack to break it all, I'm with him. But have we maybe thought that the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't want to get sacked because that's not good for the team and that's not good for their 44-year-old quarterback as well, you know?
True. Yeah.
So I get it. But they probably also don't want to, get sacked. To say one, they were more focused on that than actually winning the game. Who knows? I'm sure that's a little bit of Myles' ego, which I get it. And I understand why he would have said that. But look, I just, they're going to look back on this, and they could perhaps be looking back on this on Sunday night when they face a Ravens team that, depends if Lamar's back or not, that I think that the Ravens may be better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. But they had control. They had the grip on this. So, yeah, I think without a doubt, this is going to be one of those, this was just stupid for us to lose. Why did we lose to the Cleveland Browns of all teams, you know?
Yeah. By the way, I thought Shador played okay. And he's been stringing together a couple of, performances where I'm kind of curious what 2026 is going to be. But I look at this, and you mentioned DK as part of that group, and it's like, he had 148 receiving yards against the Ravens last time they faced each other. And the issue with this Ravens team of late has been, Marlon Humphrey's gotten kind of older, and Nate Wiggins probably had his worst game of his career this past week, and we are struggling with the deep threat. That's something they may not have to worry about against the Steelers, because it's just been such an issue getting the football downfield. And now you have MVS and Adam Thielen as your pass catchers that are out there. And the other loss that I think we should bring up is Darnell Washington, who has become a very viable target for Aaron Rodgers. The big tight end breaks his arm. And so a group that was even thin gets thinner, which is a weird thing to say when you're mentioning Darnell Washington, but it is a group that gets even thinner in terms of catching passes from Aaron Rodgers. And maybe, to me, my little X factor might be one Kenneth Gainwell for the Pittsburgh Steelers, the way they've utilized him.
Rodgers loves him.
He loves him. He leads them in catches, which is fascinating, and really just kind of a dynamic kind of player that they can utilize in a couple of different ways. I'm interested to see what Arthur Smith does this weekend in trying to get this all put together. And then with the Ravens, do you think
Derrick Henry? What are we doing here?
What we're doing is that Derrick Henry followed Coop City, and he followed Scoop City and was like, remember when James said that he's been hearing from people around the league that maybe Derrick Henry's lost his step and he's getting older?
He's like, I'm going to show that Palmer guy.
Yeah, he used me as motivation.
But look, the thing that frightens me about it is the chance of Derrick Henry doing this again.
Hard.
Tough. Right? So that works to the advantage of Pittsburgh. Who's going to be under center is going to be another element in this.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Is Lamar going to be ready to go? We're going to know later on this week on what's going to shake. You got to figure Lamar's going to do everything he can to get back on the field. I do think it is interesting to think about these two teams playing against each other in a must-win game, or at least in a game that's going to determine their futures. Yet you have both these head coaches in the same kind of position with their fan bases right now, which I think everyone's kind of split. Right? Like, you have some people, I think, in Pittsburgh who are ready to move on from Mike Tomlin, despite the fact that he had another winning season. There have been tons of question marks, a little bit of smoke around it of what's going to be the future there. And the same thing with Baltimore, where I think some Ravens fans are like, we could use a change. Let's try something different because this hasn't worked in a while. Yet we both know that those are two head coaches that I think another organization would love an opportunity to have lead their team because we know what they're getting. So I still think that by the way, I love the way the schedule shook out. Do you see how this weekend's games are laid out? Like the ones that matter, it's like a sandwich, right? Like Saturdays are huge.
And then like a little
Sunday afternoon is like, and then Sunday night, baby.
Yeah.
So you're stuck. You can't do anything once again.
Yeah. I also, we are stuck for, stuff there. I'm going to go to that Broncos Chargers game, which is going to be kind of huge for a couple of implications. But I did want to say this too. And do you think anybody in the AFC was watching the Steelers really essentially blow that game against the Browns and go, are you going to let Lamar Jackson into the postseason? Like an MVP caliber quarterback. Yes, he has not been Lamar Jackson of old this entire year. He's battled a number of injuries. But I would think everybody in the AFC is going like, but again, I don't want him in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want him. I don't want to play him.
I don't think I ever told you this story. Last year at the Super Bowl, I interviewed Derrick Henry on the red carpet. And I've known Derrick for a really long time. He's awesome. I love talking to him. And one of the questions I asked him was, do you want to... I forgot how I worded it. I think I was going for, do you want to stay with the Ravens? Something like that. And it came out, do you want to retire as a Raven?
Oh.
And he didn't hear the word retire. So he's like, yeah, I love being a Raven. But so I was like, wow, he wants to retire being a Raven. And I think I reported it or I wrote about it. And he's like, I didn't say that. I was like, oops. So we had retract. It was such a mess.
Oh, no.
He loves his time in Baltimore, but I think for him, I think Tennessee is always going to be that place for him, that he wants to be associated with and be part of because he's had so much success there. But he still looks like he's got a lot in him, and we'll see if he can go back to back here in games. Because isn't it interesting from an offensive perspective how they did this, right? Like they play the Patriots, and he doesn't even play in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then in
minutes,
this game,
to finish the game
they just feed them and feed them and feed them. And it's like, oh, wow, that worked. Sometimes the simple things don't make it so hard. One of the coolest parts of my week was working with Drew Brees. Which, by the way, let me paint a picture. You know me, nerdy me, like preparation. Like,
paint it.
I'm studying all day, like a dork sitting in the restaurant of the hotel. Everyone's having fun, enjoying Minnesota for Christmas. I'm like, I got to study. I got to read.
They're all at Mall of America. Yeah.
Yeah. They're riding the roller coaster.
Yeah.
There's only one other person in the restaurant, and he's sitting across, and who is it? It's Drew Brees, right? And just consuming as much as he can. And I walked by him. I was just like, we're nerds. Look at us. Trying to take in as much as we can. Anyways, he and I wound up having a great conversation about offensive play calling. And we're talking about Detroit specifically. And then I asked him, why did he think Dan Campbell was having success at the time? And he said, sometimes keep it simple is the answer. Everyone just gets too sophisticated that they just forget. Give the best players the ball. Wow, there you go. We solved the problem for you.
Boom. Okay. Ravens win by 50. Give Derrick Henry the ball. I mean, I am excited to see him at 31 years old with the number of, a career high in touches. He does get an extra day with the way the schedule played out, I guess, to get ready for this, right? I think. Yeah. Yeah. Right? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, coming up, we want to know, as we close out this show, Diana, is this the Bermuda Triangle of the calendar? Is this the aspect where you go, man, I got all this football I got to watch, but I got all these holidays, and I got this family, and the kids are off of school. What do we do during this week? We'll close out Scoop City on a Monday talking about it.
Don't go to the grocery store, I can tell you that.
All right, closing out Scoop City on a Monday. James Palmer, Diana Rossini with you. And Diana, I know this is a wild time for you. You got Disney on Ice. You're doing Sideline for Netflix. You're still being the Scoop insider for The Athletic. But the kids, they're there. It's the holidays. You get Christmas and then you're like, oh my God, it's New Year's. What are we doing? But we also have football. How are you navigating everything that's going on right now? Take me inside the household. Take me there.
Thank you for asking as if you are concerned, which I do think you are because you've known me a very long time.
I am concerned.
I used to be a good multitasker, and I'm getting worse as I get older because the tasks are harder. I can't. They're not as simple. Yep. I'll take you inside our household where it's loud. What you're hearing right now is because I made them exit the house, so that is why it's quiet. Actually, I think one's napping. I'm probably responsible for something in this house at this moment. Look, I thought that, and because Nick's is older and he's a boy, so you could relate to this. I thought by getting all these new toys and gifts that it's kind of built-in entertainment, right?
Yes.
Like they're just going to want to play with their dinos and their Legos and all the cool things that Santa brought them. Nope, we're good. We're all set. We did our Christmas on Saturday, so your Christmas was Thursday, so we did it a day and a half later, essentially.
It's okay.
I mean, Sunday morning, done. They're all good, all set, done, bored. T-Rex, I don't even know where he is now. All Mikey asked for was T-Rex for 6 months. He played with them once. So
that's
now
a crusher.
That's a whole nother. We could probably do a podcast about this, like a whole show about the letdown of Christmas morning as a parent, because you're so excited for them, and maybe my kids just aren't at the age yet to show appreciation yet. So it's like they just rip it open, they throw it, and I'm like, come on, man, like, we were excited about that Lego set for you.
Read the card. Read the tag. I put it on there. I wrote on there.
What about you? How's it going there?
Well, football has taken everything over, right? And this is such a crucial time for the end of the season and heading into the postseason. And what's happening, and I know you're doing this as well, like what's happening with the head coach hiring cycle and who might be on a hot seat. And all of this is happening at the same time as you say to yourself, I just have to get through the holidays. Which is a weird thing to say when everybody's supposed to be so happy, but you just got to get through it. And there's one more left with New Year's, but it's smack dab in the middle of the week, which also throws everything for a loop because it's like, Daddy's not going to not drink on New Year's Eve. Come on. So you got to find a way to get through kind of the middle of the week. But at the same time, you're right. Nick's is 13. He got an e-bike. He zipped over to Target on his own to go use, yes, he did get presents, but the gift card that his grandma got him because he wants to go buy something else. Very impressed that he came home with nothing. But he also got walkie-talkies that we use while we're on the mountain skiing, like really advanced, like cool-ass walkie-talkies. So, because I won't give him a cell phone. He zipped over to Target and he's walking me from the toy aisle. He's like, there's nothing in here, Dad. Over. And then he zipped home. And so we're getting a little bit of an ease here now that he's gotten older.
Your walkie-talkies worked from the store to your house?
Yeah, about 5 to 10 mile situation here.
First of all, those are amazing.
Yeah.
I want to admit, we just got the boys Bluey walkie-talkies, and there's nothing worse than two little kids who don't comprehend how that works. And so they're just going,
holding it in the whole time?
Call the police. There's a bad guy here. I'm like, press the button. But they can hear each other, so they think it's the walkie-talkie. You know what I'm saying?
They're both holding it at the same time, and then they let go, and then they hold it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just like, God, they're cute, but God, they're dumb. Like, press the button, Mikey. But that is
they're serious.
You have police walkie-talkies.
I'm nervous that I was watching the games and I had this walkie-talkie next to me in the basement and I'm waiting for Nick to hit me and to be like, I'm on my way back, and I was gonna hear all clear, over, all clear, all commit. I'm like, oh my God, am I on the wrong channel? Am I getting?
That's a cool gift. Picking
something up. Oh yeah, it's pretty
I like that.
It's a good one. Did
you get any gifts, by the way? Did Meg get you anything?
Oh, did she get me? Oh, she got me a painting. It's down here, but yeah, she got me a pretty sweet painting by a local artist in the mountains that it's to it,
I
but
love
it's of my favorite part of the mountain that we ski at. So
that
was
cool.
my big
what a
big
great
dealio.
gift idea.
Yes, it's a pretty rad painting. I'm not gonna lie.
I love it.
That's my big gift. Yes. How about you? By the way, before we go, what did Kev do?
I got a hug.
No,
we decided this year, and we're never going to do it again. By the way, we tried it. Not happening again. We said, it's so crazy with me not being here on Christmas, traveling, the whole spiel. We said, let's just chill on the gifts. Take a break this year. We both said on Christmas morning, we're like, that was stupid.
Yeah,
let's never do that. Even though we can all just buy our own gifts and you can just do what you want.
There's
something
giving.
Nice.
The giving part's fun.
Yeah, it feels good. And I get excited to give stuff. And I like to give the gifts better anyways. So
I do too.
I think that's probably where I felt a little sad because I'm like, I had nothing to give. And
yeah. Well, you give a lot to this show, Diana Rossini, and I appreciate it today. I do. That's the way I am around the holidays.
Oh, you're so
appreciate
sweet.
Today.
What day of the week is it?
I don't know. I've blacked out sometime in mid-December. You're wonderful. I will chat with you. Everybody else, take it easy.
Thanks for watching Scoop City. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. New episodes of Scoop City drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.